The word pride can be a bit confusing when it comes to reading the Bible. On one hand, our culture teaches us that pride is a good thing. We are taught to take pride in our work. Our parents teach us to have a sense of pride in our ancestral background and our cultural identity. National pride is a value we find that almost everyone embraces. And we even have festivals to celebrate pride, such as the gay pride events that take place all around the world. And yet, if we read the Bible, it seems to criticize pride in almost every instance. In fact, the book of Proverbs seems to be filled with pithy sayings that condemn pride. When pride comes, then comes disgrace. Pride goes before destruction. A person's pride will bring humiliation. But I think that the pride that the Bible describes is an excessive pride, an emotion that has taken over our good sense, a passion that runs roughshod over anyone and anything that may get in its way. The pride which the Bible condemns is not the feeling of thanksgiving for who we are, but rather an unyielding arrogance that ignores the feelings of our neighbors. Dr. Seuss wrote a story about unyielding pride, which described two kinds of Zaxes: those who go north and those who go south. As youngsters, the north-going Zaxes learned in north-going school to go north exclusively, and the south-going Zaxes quite naturally learned to go south. The truth is, both kinds of Zaxes were capable of going in either direction, or east or west for that matter. So their training, it seems, was not focused so much on what they were able to do, but rather on what they should choose to do. One day, the inevitable came to pass. A north-going Zax happened to be traveling across the prairie in a northerly direction, of course. And as luck would have it, he found himself on a collision course with a south-going Zax. The two were moving in exactly opposite directions, and neither were willing to budge. Now, it would have been one thing if these two Zaxes had come head to head on a narrow bridge, but their impasse was in the middle of a prairie that seemed to go on forever in all directions. Either Zax could have taken a single step to the left or to the right, or both Zaxes could have agreed to take half a sideways step in opposite directions. But the issue had nothing to do with what was possible, with what could be done to solve the problem. Rather, for Zaxes, this was a matter of pride. And so when one Zax told the other he wouldn't budge for 59 days, if that's what it took, the other upped the ante to 59 years. And so the story ends with the north-going and the south-going Zaxes continuing to stand where they were, refusing to budge an inch while the world, quietly ignoring them, moved on without them. A world with cars and buildings and bridges. Dr. Seuss's story about Zaxes provides an opportunity for us to consider the Zaxes we have encountered within our own lives, including the church. And it may be an even better idea for us to search for the Zax within ourselves. We will always have trouble growing as individuals and as the community of Christ if our pride prevents us from changing, budging, or considering someone else's feelings and perspectives. It's hard to pick up a paper without reading about some piece of violence taking place somewhere in the world. People filled with national pride, fighting people for reasons that more often than not are not altogether clear. And more often, the combatants are still in their youth. Children young enough to be playing with toys, but instead brandishing deadly weapons. Children who have learned from their own version of Zach's school to go only in one direction and to interpret the world in only one way.